Good afternoon, everyone. There's so much great chatter going on. I do not want to stop it. I'm just here to tell you, and by the way, I'm Grant Kirkpatrick. I'm co-chair of the Board of Counselors of the USC School of Architecture. And I'm just here to welcome you and to tell you enjoy your lunch, enjoy the conversation, and get settled at your tables. And we'll have a program beginning in just a little bit, but in the meantime, enjoy your lunch and the conversation. Thank you so much. Oh, you're very kind to remember that. Thank you, Keith. Hello again, everyone. Hope you're enjoying lunch. This is one of my favorite events of the year that we do. It's just the mix of, being at a table with the generous people that so many of you are who give these scholarships and to be direct connected with the students that are enjoying and taking advantage of that generosity, and then to have the faculty that make this all work and the leaders of the school. It's a priceless afternoon. I have to tell you a quick funny story at our table. I'm sitting over here, and this gentleman comes up, and he asked me if I'm done with my plate. And I looked at him, and I said, you must have been here a long time, because I've been coming to Town and Gown for a long time. And his name tag says Rudy. And I said, Rudy, how long have you worked here? He said, 46 years. And yeah, right, give it up for Rudy, 46 years. And it's his last month, and he's leaving, but of course, he's not leaving the Trojan family. Rudy, you've got to come out here and give a bow. Come on, Rudy. Is he there? Yeah. I mean, yes. Rudy, thank you. The Trojan family is a big family, and thank you for being a part of it for 46 years. Good luck to you, sir. Good luck to you. So, as I said, I'm Grant Kirkpatrick. I'm a 1986 graduate from the School of Architecture, past guild president. I now serve on the board of directors for over 20 years, and I'm currently the co-chair of the board of directors along with Ned Fox. And I'm here to welcome you to our Dean's Scholarship Luncheon, an excellent tradition that we haven't gotten to do in a couple of years. But I also want to mention that my wife, Shea, over here, and I are also, we have a couple of scholarships here. And the beneficiaries who are here with us this evening or this afternoon and have been with us at other lunches, it's just, again, just such a precious time together. I also will just mention that our son Jack is graduating again from USC from the MRAD, Masters of Real Estate and Development program next week. So proud Trojans. So I'm going to introduce Dean Milton Curry. He's been at the helm of the school, as you know, for the last 5 years. Dean Curry obtained his master's in architecture degree with distinction from Harvard Graduate School of Design, his bachelor degree from Cornell University, and he's held teaching positions at Arizona State, Cornell, the Harvard Graduate School of Design, and the University of Michigan. He's taught and lectured on architecture theory in undergraduate and graduate design studios, urban housing, and architecture and urban theory. So Dean Curry, as we know, he's committed to the innately democratic process of the American university. He believes architecture thinking is critical to an academy's role in advancing contemporary discourse on cultural inclusion and social impact. So with that, I want to welcome Milton, wherever you are. There, right in front of me. And thank you, Milton. You're a terrific friend, and you've been an inspiring force for transformative change at the school. Welcome.
Good afternoon. How's everybody doing? Good? Excellent. I want to thank everyone for being here. I want to echo what Grant said. This is an event that I insisted that we start when I came here, and immediately it became a tradition, which is great when that happens. And this is my favorite event. When I was at the University of Michigan, I attended 7 of these, and it was really an extraordinary highlight to being there, and it has been a highlight of my being here at USC. So good afternoon. Again, it's good to see everyone. board members, donors, and other guests. And thank you so much for investing your time to join us today. Before we begin our program, I'd like to ask that we thank members of our Board of Counselors, many of whom are in attendance today, for their leadership. And they play a really crucial role in the school, providing guidance and support to the school and to me as I try to lead the school and strengthen the school for today, but also for many generations to come. My thanks also go out to the Architectural Guild, especially the Guild board members who are with us this afternoon, for the group's long-standing commitment to our school and our students. So could I please ask all of the Board of Counselors and Guild board members to stand, and so that we can give you a round of applause. Thank you, and thank you for all that you do for our school. I also want to thank our talented, dedicated staff for whom this event and countless other events and activities wouldn't be possible. The advancement and marketing communications teams have designed another great event, so thank you. Now, this event is dedicated to recognizing and showcasing and showing the gratitude to our large and growing community of alumni, non-alumni, family members, partners, and others who have supported the vision and initiatives of the School of Architecture for some years, and others who have recently become engaged with us. Many of these donors who have established these scholarship funds are here with us today. Could I please ask all of them to stand so that we can give you a round of applause? And thank you for all that you've done, all that you're doing to make possible the dreams and aspirations of our students. Your investment in our students and in direct scholarships structured in term funds for immediate impact or long-term endowments, awards, prizes, and traveling fellowship funds to support independent research and discovery. All of these ensure a strong foundation of academic excellence and access to a USC architecture education. USC Architecture is a different kind of school of architecture. The legacy of innovation and rigor embedded within the architectural education is unrivaled. The design studio and the relentless push for creative solutions that change old paradigms to produce something new are unique to architectural education. Today, our graduates are helping to build contemporary cities and environments from the U.S. to Asia and beyond. They're creating value by impacting the communities in which they and we live and work. And with a student body of nearly 700 strong and faculty members of about 110, the school has a reach and scale that really few others have. And I know that you agree, because you're here, you agree that we have talented, dynamic, and diverse students. And it's through your generosity that so many can follow their educational paths. About 86% of our students are awarded and supported by some form of scholarship aid. But currently, USC Architecture has 73 endowed funds designated for scholarship support, providing hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars in aid annually, hundreds of thousands of dollars. But the 86% of students who receive some form of financial aid, out of the 86% of our students who receive financial aid, only 16% were awarded scholarships directly from the School of Architecture. So we want to close this gap. There's much more to give and much more to invest in our students. I just wanted to also highlight that we just accepted our incoming freshman class for the undergraduate architecture program, and I want to tell you that last year we had the lowest acceptance rate in the history of the school at 17.1%, and this year our acceptance rate is 17.6%. So the second lowest proportion of people who applied who got into USC architecture. And the diversity mirrors what we saw last year, with over 60% of our class being underrepresented or underrepresented students. And so we have a very diverse pool of students here, and you see them. But we also have a diverse group of students, talented group of students, very selective group of students coming in about 3.5 to 4 months. So this is now a common occurrence at our school to have this kind of student body joining us. So it's very exciting, and I think the continued support that you give will make it possible to continue that level of diversity and excellence that this school has been known for, and that it's becoming more and more known for as we build off of that legacy. So today we'll be hearing from several students and alumni about the impact of your scholarships, the impact that they've had in their educational journey and success. Their stories are truly inspirational and remind us of how much can be achieved when they are given the support and resources that they need. So again, thank you for sharing your resources, your vision, and your generosity and spirit with our students. And I want to now move to introducing some of the people you're going to be hearing from. First, we'll be hearing from, well, I'm going to give you the categories and I'm going to introduce them. We'll be hearing from a mother and daughter committed to students having global studies experience, to an alumni who is now giving back in a meaningful way after immigrating to the U.S. for studies, to the son of one of the country's most prolific mid-century modernist architects, and a lasting, loving legacy tribute to 4 incredible students whose creativity and innovation are met with resilience and grit. So I want to introduce some of these people. First, Adele Chang, member of our Board of Counselors Executive Committee, and her daughter Jessica Chang, a Bachelor of Architecture alumni of 2013. Jessica and Adele.
Thank you, Dean, for that intro. Again, my name is Adele Chang, and I am a practicing architect and a member of the Dean's Board of Counselors. My daughter, as the Dean said, is a graduate of this school, and she is also a licensed architect. Through my participation on the board and having been a parent of an alum here, I have learned a great deal about the school, its legacies, and its ambitious plans for the future. Part of the pedagogy of the school is the semester-long study abroad program, which is now required of every student. The School of Architecture is unique among USC schools in having an established and ongoing abroad program in multiple parts of the world. And it's mostly back on track, since COVID is mostly past, the worst of it. And I believe in the importance of exposure to other cultures, as well as having a more global and inclusive understanding of architecture's impact as part of a complete education for an architect. That is why we have supported the school's Global Studies Scholarship Fund, so all students could participate in the program regardless of financial means. I'd like to finish before handing it off to Jessica by saying that I feel very privileged and honored to be a part of this great school.
My years in USC architecture were incredibly formative, not only in my architectural education, but in my level of discipline and rigor. I found that my professors in the program were extremely dedicated to every student, and I'd like to take this time to acknowledge all the educators and administrators that continue to make the school such a success. Shout out to Alvin, Doris, and Miller. I see you guys. Now, as I practice and review employee candidates, I find that USC students consistently have the most well-rounded and impressive portfolios. So it makes me very happy that my mom and I are able to contribute to the success in USC students and sponsor their educations abroad. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Jessica and Adele. Next is Esmeralda Aceituno, a third-year Bachelor of Architecture student.
Hi, everyone. My name is Esmeralda Aceituno. I'm currently a fourth year in the undergrad Bachelor's of Architecture program, and I'm also double minoring in cinematic arts and communication design. Firstly, I would like to thank the Dean for offering me to speak in front of you all today, and everyone who has made today's event possible. Ever since I could remember, my parents have always instilled in me the importance of a college education. As a young child, I remember having conversations with my dad and mom about why college was important and how it wasn't a matter of if I was going to college, it was when I was going to college. As I underwent the college application process as a senior in high school, my parents were also going through it for the first time as well, as I am a first-generation student, and my parents never had the privilege or opportunity to attend college or any university. And I applied to every possible scholarship I could apply for, as I knew the biggest barrier for me between me and a college education was finances. I will never forget the day I received my college acceptance to USC. I walked into the kitchen after, going to a typical day of high school and saw the big USC package and red lettering and fancy everything. And as I rushed to open it, my dad stopped me as my mom wasn't home yet, and she made me wait 3 hours in agony, sitting there staring at the letter. And my mom rushed home, and I finally opened it, and it seemed like it was the initial shock of getting into USC is everything. And then it was the next step of, well, how am I going to afford this? So after the initial shock and happiness of receiving, the grand USC acceptance letter, I had to begin thinking about how to afford it. Then came the second biggest shock of my life, which was receiving a full tuition scholarship and additional aid through USC Architecture. And so I could truly say with full confidence that if it wasn't for my scholarships and donors like you, I would not be standing here in front of you today. And I would not have had the opportunity to study under professors that have changed my worldview and how I view buildings and architecture. And I would not have had the opportunity to meet a group of lifelong friends who I got paired with my first semester of architecture here, and who now I can call my best friends and sisters. And so thank you for your generosity, as it is because of donors like you that not only am I living my lifelong dream of going to college, but also my parents' lifelong dream. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Esmeralda. Our next speaker is Jingbo Liu, alumni of the Master of Architecture program, a successful developer and entrepreneur, a civic nonprofit leader, and someone who is also on the board of the LA Conservancy and part of the class of 1994. Jingbo.
Thank you, Dean. Name is Jingbo Liu. I'm a class of 1994, Master of Landscape Architecture. Esmeralda, I really share your story. I have almost exactly same experience as you did. Back in late 80s, early 90s, I was a young architect in Beijing, China, and I had a whole vision and whole hope of my careers. Then 1989 happened. So I got lost. I felt my life lost meanings. I met professionals, and I don't know where to go. And if you're old enough, you probably know what happened in 1989. So I started applying for schools in America, looking for next step. And after receiving numerous of exceptions without any aids, and I did not know how to can I afford it. So there was no way I can come here until very end of that summer 1991, and I received a package from USC. When I opened the package, I couldn't understand what this means, really. It was a waiver of tuitions and a living wage of $500 per month. There you go. That was my time to come. And I owe USC, School of Architecture, my American dream, and every bit of success I had for the past 31 years. And so I'm the direct beneficiary of this program. Without the program, I would not be here. And so I'm still an architect. I practice architecture most of my time, 75% of my time. I still remember my days at school. We were talking there. We had a good time and hard time, crying, smiling, and desperations. I don't know how I did through it, but what I have learned from USC School of Architecture is the foundation of the next chapter of my venture. So thank you, Dean, and thank you, everybody. I will share that when I was finally graduate from the school, I was having a group chatting. Back then, the students from China, mainland China, were limited. I think we were very few one on the campus. And we were talking about all of us were scholarship receivers and how do we pay back. We made our pledge. Someday we'll pay back. And that's exactly what I was doing. What I'm doing, I will encourage all my friends who made the promise that day to do the same. Thank you.
Thank you, Jingbo, and thank you to our first several speakers. These are moving stories, and there's so many similarities from generation to generation, and so that's what makes this convening and the table partners that you have so meaningful. So thank you. Next, I'd like to welcome Etulon Joseph, who is a current student in the Master of Architecture program.
Greetings, everyone. So as you know, my name is Etulon Joseph. I am from the Caribbean, and there are little opportunities to explore the formal discipline of architecture, much less attend a school with such academic resources, professional opportunities, and chances for personal growth. I didn't even know what architecture was until I moved to a small community college in the middle of Kansas. 10 years later, I'm here at USC, learning and exploring ideas that are significantly changing the way that I view architecture, that I approach architecture, for the better. But it could not have been done without the generous financial assistance of the department and the Architecture Guild. The scholarships I have received have given me a chance to continue my education with less anxiety and less burden, allowing me to actively participate in the USC community by being a CA, by actively being on the Academic Initiatives and Curriculum Committee, even being recently exhibited, and landing an internship at KA Design Group, which coincidentally is sitting at the table right now by Grant. I thank you, all of you, for the continued financial community support that you have given to students like me for generations. I would not be standing here if it weren't for you and your generosity. And I hope with time, I will be able to do the same for the future fellow Trojan architects. Thank you.
Thank you, Echelon. And just also another thanks to all of the students who are here. And I noticed that a lot of students who end up at this luncheon are also extremely active in our student organizations and on committees. And so you're already starting to give back while you're here, which is interesting and amazing. I know that you'll continue to do that when you're alumni and sitting in the other chairs here many years from now. Next, I'm very pleased to introduce a friend and a member of our Board of Counselors, Randy Koenig, an attorney in Orange County, the son of the late, great Pierre Koenig, one of the master architects who defined mid-century modernism and whose work is really a part of our DNA at USC Architecture. Randy?
Thank you, Dean. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Randy Koenig, and I am a lawyer. As I gaze around all the smiling faces here, the recipients of the scholarships, about ready to take the deep dive into the architectural world, beware. There's lots of sharks out there wearing three-piece suits, just waiting for the slight slip-up, right, Ed? An innocent mistake, and then that will allow that shark to take a big bite out of you, your profits, your time, your business. But there's some benefits to that, and that is that there's good lawyers out there, like myself. I'm an architect lawyer. I've been doing it for decades, helping young architects, old architects get out of trouble. I've represented Starchitects who've been on the cover of Time magazine to the brand new architect working out of the garage. Both SC grads, by the way. I'm an SC grad, and I am very proud to be a member of the Board of Counselors for the school here. Take it very seriously. It's a great group. And I established a scholarship for my father, the Pierre Koenig Endowment Fund, a few years ago, which is growing. And if you don't know my dad, he was an SC grad, taught here for 50 years, was a distinguished professor, and one of the pillars of mid-century modern architecture. And to be very candid with you guys, he was really upset that I didn't become an architect. But he found great solace that I help architects, engineers, and other design professionals in the world. So, with that said, I want to leave you with a couple of things. One is, this is an incredible gathering. I got a chance to meet many of the students, and I would encourage you a couple of things. One, please, as you heard about the great Trojan family, participate in alumni events going forward, the Architectural Guild. Maybe I'll see you at the Coliseum at a football game, but there's one place I don't want to see you guys, and that's the court, all right? So good luck and fight on.
Well, you knew you were going to get some advice today. You just didn't know it was going to be about legal advice, but I listen to anything that Randy says to me and take it very seriously. I'd like now to let's see here. Okay, got my place back. Next, I would like to introduce one of our graduate students, Mira Davis, who is a student in the Master of Architecture program. Mira?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name, again, is Mira Davis, and I am a MArch +2 student in my first year, and I'd like to begin by expressing my sincere gratitude for your contributions to my graduate education. I am the first one in my family to pursue a graduate degree, and the support that I've already received from USC has been life-changing. 10 years ago today, actually, because it's May, I was in Richmond, Virginia, asking my middle school guidance counselor about architecture because I had never met one. As I reflect on all that has happened since, I grow even more optimistic about the next 10 years. And I'm extremely excited for my career in architecture. I have recently graduated from the University of Virginia, where I received my Bachelor's of Science, and I chose USC as a place to refine my interests in one of the most interesting cities in the world. I have already been exposed to amazing classmates, unimaginable urban lessons, and highly qualified professors that have award-winning firms of their own. Your contributions have not only supported a world-renowned architecture school, but have validated the dreams of a 13-year-old Mira from Richmond, Virginia. So thank you so much, and fight on.
Thank you, Mira. And we'd like all of you to, to go back to those moments and those places where you can inspire the next generation of architects, that they too can be an architect and can be a Trojan. So, thank you. Our final student to speak this afternoon is Justin Wan, who's graduating with me this month after 5 years at USC Architecture with a Bachelor of Architecture. So, Justin, please come on up.
Hi, everyone. I'm Justin Wan from the graduating class of 2022, and it is with the greatest honor to speak here today to celebrate the generosity of the scholarship donors, the leadership of our dear Dean Curry, the achievements of the students, and everyone that has contributed to making today's event a success. So today marks the 10th semester since Dean Curry and I joined the Trojan family, and his service has taken the School of Architecture to yet another new height in enriching the academic experience and shaping a more inclusive learning environment. On behalf of the graduating class of 2022, I would like to personally thank Dean Curry for his nurturing and support throughout the past 5 years of our education at USC. As a recipient of his kindness, I was fortunate enough to have been invited by Dean Curry to host Mr. Brian Liu, who is currently one of the board members at the School of Architecture and Dean Curry's former student at Cornell University. Upon the reception, I was given an opportunity to work at Mr. Liu's firm in Hong Kong, and the opportunity has opened up more doors for me in the later years of my undergraduate education. This includes scholarships and grants and travel fellowships that I have received. COVID has proven to be a very difficult time for many people, but with the continuous support of the donors, I was able to continue to pursue my undergraduate education and see the world with eyes unclouded. With the continuous support of the donors, I was able to pursue my interest in sustainable designs and continue my research at Columbia University in their graduate program in the coming semester. And I would like to thank Dean Curry once again for all that he has done for the School of Architecture in the past 5 years. His leadership and service will be missed, and I wish him all the best in his future endeavors. Fight on.
Thank you so much, Justin. And we look forward to the great work you're going to do at Columbia and beyond, so really appreciate that. It's now my pleasure to recognize two notable guests joining us today, Edward and Sarah Abrahamian. I had the great pleasure of getting to know them, having been introduced to them, getting to know the family's history, And this is a very extraordinary family. The Abrahamian family has long ties with USC and have contributed significantly to USC and the School of Architecture. Ed is a USC alumnus who earned his bachelor's degree in architecture in 1963. His older brother, Frank, who passed away far too long ago, graduated with a doctorate from the School of Pharmacy in 1959. Recently, a $4 million gift from Edward and his wife, Sandra, was given to fund student scholarships and support resources at the USC School of Architecture and the USC School of Pharmacy. Their gift will provide full scholarship support to a gifted USC architecture student each year through the Sandra and Edward C. Abrahamian Scholarship Endowment Fund. A fully endowed scholarship fund will be a first for this school. The school will also renovate a student lounge and provide other resources to undergraduates and graduates in honor of Abrahamian's late parents, Zahrawi and Charles Abrahamian. In honor of his late brother, Ed also donated to the USC School of Pharmacy to establish the Frank C. Abrahamian Endowed Scholarship Fund, and to memorialize the family's legacy and his late brother, Ed dedicated his estate to creating more student services and scholarships that would live on in perpetuity. We'd like to present you with a gift to show our gratitude, but first we'd like you to come up and say a few words.
Thank you, Dean Curry. I feel blessed to have been a successful architect during my career, and I owe it all to the excellent education and guidance that I received from USC, and also to have had parents that have had the love and devotion to make huge sacrifices to provide scholarship funds to my brother and I. Because of the position that I'm in now, I'm really pleased to honor my parents' values and for their respect for higher education. My wife and I want to make this donation in the name and memory of my parents, Zahrawi and Charles Abrahamian. I cannot imagine a tribute more meaningful to their legacy. Thank you, Dean Curry, and thank you, the assistant to Dean, Kristen Johansson, for assisting my wife and I to establish the endowment to the School of Architecture and to the School of Pharmacy. And I'd like to say a special thanks to my wife of 56 years for her love and understanding. Thank you. By the way, I really get choked up when I see my family out there, I tell you. Sandy, would you please join us? Thank you.
Thank you, Ed and Sandra. And I think we've got some bubbly at our tables, and I'm going to ask that we all take this opportunity to raise our glasses and to toast Ed and Sandra, their generous, visionary support will live on in the lives and work of future generations and students. We are deeply grateful to Edward and Sandra Abrahamian for their generosity. Thank you.
Thank you. The support and the generosity from the Abraham is just wonderful. Thank you both so much. So we're going to start to wind down here, and before I ask Amy to come up and close us out, I just want us to also give a little bit of toast to Dean Curry. So as most of you know, Dean Curry has decided to step down at the end of June. He's going to have a sabbatical, well-deserved, and return to his independent research and creative projects. This is after 12 consecutive years in senior academic administration, both here and at prior universities, including Michigan for 7 years. He's now going to take time to pursue other passions and be with his family. So after a year, he will be returning to the school full-time as faculty. So we're not saying goodbye, but we are saying thank you. And your bold vision, your courageous leadership, you might have to hold your glass up for a little longer here, I'm sorry. Let's not forget deft agility at managing some very compelling crises and a pandemic and quite a few things. There's too many accomplishments to mention for the last 5 years, but just to name a few so we're all on the same page as we toast him and thank him. There are new investments in student experience, new faculty, tenure track hires, 2 new research centers, successful acquisition with the Getty Trust for the Paul Revere Williams Archive, launch of the A-Lab High School program with LAUSD, new degree programs, the expansion of Global Studies program for all BARC students, and I think, moreover, you've been an inspiration. You've inspired the community to embrace the idea of citizen architect. And I think that there's a lasting legacy to be acknowledged there. So just so everyone knows, this idea of the citizen architect is engaging the community, advancing architectural thinking, social justice and inclusion, and helping solve some of the most complex challenges that are in the built and natural environments. And that's what we architects do. I was sitting at our table, and we have students who may not take a conventional architectural path because they may have a calling that's something different. But through this school, we get to be problem solvers, or maybe even better, challenge resolvers. But that's what we're capable of because we have this extraordinary education, and we have the support, like people in this room, who help make it happen. So we want to thank you, Milton, for the last 5 years. I want to raise a glass and toast to the future and welcome you back, but have a nice break. Cheers. All right, on that note, Amy, come and join me.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you guys hear me? There we go. So my name is Amy Pokawatana. I am a proud alumni from the School of Architecture and current Guild Board President. So thank you for having me here today. I'm really honored. And thank you, Grant. On behalf of the Architectural Guild, thank you, Dean Curry. We've been proud partners to you and the school over these past 5 years. We look forward to carrying forth your strategic objectives and moral imperatives for the school. The Architectural Guild, through its fundraising event efforts, has contributed more than $1 million in funds for this past year to support key initiatives such as scholarship support. Many of my colleagues on the Guild board, are here today and join me in saluting all of our student scholars. Thank you for being here and all that you do for the school and these terrific students. That concludes today's program. Before you leave, please gather in front of the steps for photo opportunities. For donors with endowed funds, please assemble with your student scholars. Our photographer will be organizing as many group photos in rapid succession as possible. Thank you, everyone, again, for joining us at the 2022 Scholarship Luncheon and for all that you do for the USC School of Architecture. Fight on.